go. We're back, 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 back. Wait, wait. Let's go. Happiness comes from between. Who sees all being who sees all beings in himself and his own self, and his own self is all beings, loses all fear when a sage sees this great unity and his self has become all beings. What delusion and what delusion and what sorrow can ever be near him? Uh, we found these shades, we found these shirts. I was entirely happy. Perhaps we feel I wasn't entirely happy. Perhaps we feel like that's when we die and become a part of something and something entire of something's entire of something's entire, whether it is sun and air or goodness and knowledge. At any rate, that is happiness to be dissolved into something complete and great. Williakada, Willakada. Proverbs, sayings, and words of wisdom dignify events. So we often use them to mark important transitions in life. For the graduating class of 1981 at Scottsdale High School in Scottsdale, New York, choosing a quotation was a rite of passage, an opportunity to reflect on one's emerging identity and express some aspects of it. As I look through the yearbook as I look through the yearbook from that class, as the quotation underneath each photo, I see two main kinds. I see two main kinds, many attributes to love and friendship appropriate for a time of parting from friends. You never really leave the friend you love. Part of them, part of them you take with you, leaving a part of you behind, anonymous. The other kind expresses optimism, sometimes mixed with uh, trepidation about the road ahead. Indeed, it's difficult to think about graduating from high school without using the metaphor that life is a journey. For example, four students quoted the Cat Seven songs on the road to find out. Two quoted George Washington, "I am embarked on a wild ocean, boundless in its prospect, and in which perhaps no safe harbor is to be found." And one student quoted this line from Bruce Springsteen: "Well, I got some beer and the highway free, and I got you, and baby, you've got me." But nestled among these affirmations of life, limitless possibilities, is one with a darker tone. Limitless possibilities is one with a darker tone. Whosoever shall not fall by the sword or by famine shall fall by pestilence. So why bother shaving? Woody Allen. Above those words in a photograph of me, I was only partly kidding. During the previous year, I had written a paper examining the play Waiting for Godot's Samuel Burkett's existentialist meditation on the absurdities of life in a world with no God, and it got me thinking. I was already an atheist, and by my senior year, I had become obsessed with the question, what is the meaning of life? I wrote my personal statements for college admissions on the meaninglessness of life. I spent the winter of my senior year in a kind of philosophical depression, not a clinical depression, just a pervasive sense that everything was pointless. In the grand scheme of things, I thought it really didn't matter whether I got into college or whether the earth was destroyed by an asteroid or by nuclear war. My despair was particularly strange because for the first time since the age of 4, my life was perfect. I had a wonderful girlfriend, great friends, and loving parents. I was captain of the track team, and perhaps and perhaps most important for a 17-year-old boy, I got to drive around in my father's 1966 Thunderbird convertible. Yet I kept wondering why any of it mattered. Like the author of Ecclesiastics, I thought that all is vanity and a chasing after wind. Ecclesiastics 1, verse 14. I finally escaped when, after a week of thinking about suicide in the abstract, not as a plan, I turned the problem into inside out. There is no God and no external giving meaning to life. I thought so from one perspective. It really wouldn't matter if I killed myself today or tomorrow. Very well, very well then. Everything beyond tomorrow is a gift with no strings and no expectation. There is no test to hand in. Sorry, there is no test to hand in at the end of life. So there is no way to fail. If this really is all there is, why not embrace it rather than throw it away? I would I don't know whether the realization lifted my mood. I don't know whether the realization lifted my mood or whether an improving mood helped me to reframe the problem with hope. But my existential depression lifted, and I hope the last month of high school. Everything beyond tomorrow is a gift and no strings and expectation. There is no test. My interest is the meaning of life continued. However, so in college, I majored in philosophy, where I found few answers. Modern philosophers specialize in analyzing the meaning of words, but aside from the existentialists who caused the problem for me in the first place, they had little to say about the meaning of life. It was only after I entered graduate school in psychology that I realized why modern philosophy seems sterile. It lacked a deep understanding of human nature. The ancient philosophy were often good psychologists, as I have shown in this book. But when modern philosophy began to devote itself to the study of logic and rationality, it gradually lost its interest. It gradually lost interest in psychology and lost touch with the passionate, counter contextualized the passionate contextualized nature of human life. It is impossible to analyze the meaning of life in the abstract or in general, or for some mythical and perfectly rational being, only by knowing the kind of beings that we actually are, with the complex mental and emotional architecture that we happen to possess, can anyone even begin to ask about what would count as a meaningful life. Philosophy has, to its credit, become more psychological and more passionate in recent years. As I went on in psychology and in my own research on morality, I discovered that psychology and related sciences have revealed so much about human nature that an answer is now possible. In fact, we have known most of the answer for 100 years, and many of the remaining pieces have fallen into place over the last 10. This chapter is my version of psychology's answer to the ultimate question. What was the question? New section of this chapter. The question, what the meaning of life? The question, what is the meaning of life, might be called the holy question. In analogy to the Holy Grail, its pursuit is noble, and everyone should want to find an answer, yet few people expect that one can be found. That's why books and movies that purports to tell us the answer to the holy question often do so only in jest. The Hicken, wait, Hitch, Hitchhiker, Hitchhiker. So the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a gigantic computer built to answer the holy question, spits out a solution after 7.5 million years of computation. 42 in the closing scene of the movie Monty Python, The Meaning of Life, the answer to the holy question is handed to actor Michael Palin in drag who reads it aloud. Try to be nice to people, avoid eating fat, read a good book every now and then, get some walking, and try to live in harmony with people of all creeds and nations. These answers are funny precisely because they take the form of good answers, yet their context yet their content is empathy or mundane. Who reads it aloud? Try to be nice to people. What was I expecting? What kind of answer could we say? Okay. That's good. And then get working. These answers are funny precisely because they take the form of good answers, yet their content is empty or mundane. Uh, these parodies invite us to laugh at ourselves and ask, what was I expecting? What kind of answer could have satisfied me? One thing philosophy did teach me is how to analyze questions, how to clarify exactly what is being asked before giving an answer. The holy question cries out for clarification. Whenever we ask what is the meaning of X, what kind of answer could possibly satisfy us? The most common kind of meaning is definitional. What is the meaning of anayim? Anan- Anayim means define the word anayim. For me, that I can understand. It's when I read it, I go to the dictionary, look it up, and find that it means a pseudonym consisting of the real name written backwards. Very well. What is the meaning of life? I go back to the dictionary and find that life has 21 meanings, including the quality that distinguish a vital and functional being from a dead body or purely chemical matter, and the period from birth to death. Dead end. This is not at all the right kind of answers. We are not asking about the word, we are not asking about the word life. We are asking about life itself. A second kind of meaning is about symbolism or substitution. If you dream about exploring a basement and finding a trapdoor to a subspace, you might ask, what is the meaning of the subspace? The psychologist Carl Jung had such a dream and concluded that the meaning of the sub-basement, the thing it symbolizes or stood for, was the collective unconscious, a deep set of ideas shared by all people. But this is another dead end. Life does not symbolize, stand for, or point to anything. It is life itself that we want to understand. A third way in which we ask about meaning is as a plea for help in masking sense, in making sense of something. Oh.